Alternative gonna give you what you asking for. Naturally yours, but educate the most. Hottest in the game, here to put you on. Come learn this business, welcome to Twinness. Alternative gonna give you what you asking for. Naturally yours, but educate the most. Hottest in the game, here to put you on. Come learn this business, welcome to Twinness. But glad you're tuning in on the latest tip. Alternative salon, keep your head lit. And naturally yours, got your custom fit. T-shirt and Tanika, keep your wig drip. TNT, double up the impact, call it Twinness. Hottest hairstylist in the business. Keeping topics fresh for your listening. Black owned, woman independent. Like fishes hold it down on your imaging. Whether professional or apprenticeship. Showing culture love just to get you right. Black is beautiful, always shining bright. Alternative gonna give you what you asking for. Naturally yours, but educate the most. Hottest in the game, here to put you on. Come learn this business, welcome to Twinness. Alternative gonna give you what you asking for. Naturally yours, but educate the most. Hottest in the game, here to put you on. Come learn this business, welcome to Twinness.
Hello. This is Tisha McDonald here, Alternatives Beauty Studio.
And I am Tanika Gillard. I am Naturally Yours.
We want to say hello to everybody. We hope everybody had a good week. And we want to say we did not forget to remember that today is September 11th. And, we just want to acknowledge 9/11. So, all right, we're going to get into it because we have a guest tonight. She's one of my mentors, my coaches. We are going to talk about alopecia and different hair loss and what can you do to prevent and what can you do to retain your hair and what can you do to regrow your hair. Amber is the best in the game. And I've learned a lot from her. She's a clinical trichologist. She's a non-surgical hair replacement specialist. She's amazing. She's amazing. And I must say, I took her class a year, maybe two now ago, and she's taught me a lot. And she's even coached me through how to take insurance, medical insurance for people that have cancer or alopecia or any other kind of hair loss. And you know what? Go ahead, Nikki. I just want to say Amber is in the building. She's here tonight. She's our special guest. Nikki, do you have anything to say before I bring her on? I know you don't know her. She is my coach, my mentor.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to meeting Miss Amber McCray. We both get a lot of questions on alopecia, and thank you guys for joining us live. And thank you for watching the replay, those of you who are catching the replay. And just know that we are always available on the replay. You could always DM us, whether it's Tisha McDonald or Tanika Gillard. If you reach us in the Twinness Facebook page, we don't mind. I know we got flogged with questions last week as we were introducing or letting people know that we did have this special guest on today. We started getting personal messages just like, join the show next Sunday. So I'm excited to see and to meet Miss McCray.
All right, I'm bringing her on right now. Without further ado. Hey,
Hi,
Amber.
everybody. Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Y'all trying to make me tear up on those introductions.
How's your Sunday evening going?
It is going good. I'm full now, but I'm here and ready to answer any questions you guys have. And I'm just very honored to be able to be a part of you all's channel today to talk about such a challenging topic about alopecia.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Tanika, I don't know if you could answer this, but I see Patricia is trying to get on. If you could read your instant message.
I was in my personal page, but let me see if I see anything on the Twinness page. Go ahead, Tisha.
Okay, so let's get it started. You want me to read it or do you have it?
I don't have anything.
Okay, so the first question, Amber. First of all, let me give you the proper introduction before I even, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone, but I want to make sure I get it all right, because Amber also has, she's the owner of Healthy Hair Solutions. She's based in Augusta, Georgia. So I wanted you to know down there, if you are in Georgia, she's in Augusta.
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
We're in Alabama, so we just one state away.
Yes,
one state away, neighbor to neighbor.
Yes.
And she has Seamless Academy.
Yes.
It's an all-inclusive course teaching beauty professionals how to maximize their profits in the hair loss industry. So Amber, give us a little background before we jump into questions. Let's get a little background on you.
Okay, so yep, so like I say, Healthy Hair Solutions Corp is, that's my business. That's where I actually work with these clients that we're speaking of today. Specializing in the hair restoration, growing people's hair back for using holistic techniques, and also the hair replacement business, where for those who need like customized units or hair systems, we do that for them as well. And thankfully, all these individuals who, those who qualify can get there's funding available for these type of clients, because those are medical. Most of those are medical cases. Alopecia is any type of hair loss. So if and hair loss usually comes from some type of underlying ailment, some type of medical reason, maybe your medication, your diagnosis, things like that. So when I got into the hair replacement field, I learned that, hey, insurance can cover these services for those who qualify. So doing it in my own business helped me birth Seamless Academy, because of course, when people hearing that I'm doing that, other beauty professionals are like, hey, can I do that too? And that was honestly never intended on teaching it, but it really ended up being a good benefit to do that, because I'm all for trying to share what I know in the industry to help somebody else, because we all know that, if you're offering hair loss services can get costly, but people cannot help it. That's the condition they're dealing with. So I wanted to kind of make it easier on my clients, and help them find resources that can pay for those services. And that's where insurance, medical finance, and different organizations that help. That's where I kind of really start digging into that and teaching other beauty professionals what's out there, and also my clients what's out there.
Okay, so I want to say two things maybe. One, you look awful young. So I want to say, congratulations, but, on that, because I don't know how old you are, and I'm not going to ask because we keep our youthful look. But was there a reason why you went this direction?
Yes, I actually started with like I was my background is in science when I was in college. So I was really doing hair on the side as is my, I was licensed as a cosmetologist, but that was my side hustle through college. But when you have that science background, you have that curious mind of, hey, I'm having these people who all their hair is just coming out, they could come to you all the time, and then all of a sudden their hair just starts thinning or their hair starts breaking. I wanted to know what was causing that. And you learn all those biology terminologies and biochemistry. You know that there's something that's going on internally. So that brought me into that field of trichology. But of course, my mom was probably my first person. She was a breast cancer survivor, and she was probably the first person I saw like that completely went bald. She was not open about wanting to share that, and show that. And so I wanted to be able to give solutions to those individuals that was experiencing those type of trials, and those type of elements are things that insurance. I think if I knew then when she was going through, like, hey, we could have got insurance to cover your a nice hair system, instead of her having to buy quick uncomfortable weaves because she wasn't really comfortable in them, because their scalps are very sensitive. So it kind of started from that, and then kind of birthed into, hey, I'm just a curious, nosy person anyway. I need to know why I'm shampooing your hair every 2 weeks and your hair starting to fall out. So they kind of make me dig deeper into it.
I'm going to pause right there, T. I'm sorry, because y'all know on Twinness, we like to educate, and we always like to pick up the little gems. And so I picked up a gem when Amber was talking about her mother and why she started her business, because there's always a reason why you start your business. There's always a reason, a deeper meaning, more than just I want to do hair and I want to make wigs. Her story is her mother, and that was the cause of her going into the field that she's in. So I just wanted to point out that gem. That was gem number one. Go ahead, T.
My question is, how did you know? Or because a lot of times when I tell people that I now can accept Aetna a lot of people don't know that you can go to a salon and use your insurance. How did you find that out? Because for a long time, people did not know that. And I still don't know that up here in New York and Delaware, where I live, we still don't know that up here. Our people.
My major is college, so
you're freezing, Amber. Amber?
How about now? Oh gosh.
Okay. Yeah, you were frozen. Can you say that again? Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm out here in the country. But yeah, so like I said, my background was a lot in research and a job that I was trying to get with my degree. It really I didn't get the job I was trying to get. So I was like, well, hey, this cosmetology field is going well. My interest was always in hair loss. And I really just started researching the different specialties I could do. I already knew I wanted to do trichology, but I didn't want to go ahead and start working with hair loss right then. So when I learned about the non-surgical hair replacement field, which honestly, to be honest, I just was Googling it. And I looked into it, and it was out. It was out then that, and this was like, a little over about 7 years ago, maybe. And it was listing that, those services are covered with insurance. So it's actually something I just researched, but of course there was no steps on how to do that. I had went and got my certification from an educator in Texas, Miss Jackie. She's the owner of Changing Images, and she also accepted clients. She serviced clients who had insurance covering it, but they were covering it through their doctors. And I was like, well, hey, I'm about to bring this specialty back to Georgia, which hair replacement was not a huge thing in the African American community. And I knew I had candidates for hair replacement. So I'm like, oh no, I got to find a way to be able to sell this to them, and them knowing that, hey, this is a better option for you and insurance can cover it. Because honestly, they would have just kept getting quick weaves and the crochet wigs and all that, Yeah. So because that's what they've been doing. And for me to come with this different price point, I just wanted to show another alternative. And that's kind of how I got into it. So it was like one thing sprouted into another thing to make that happen. So really just something I found, and one thing I looked into and just researched it and figured it out for myself.
Okay.
And called insurance companies. Yeah.
No, that was gem number 2. We always educate. She had a mentor in Texas that helped her get to where she needed to go. So we always talk business in between everything else. We always talk about having a mentor or mentorship. Tisha, did you have a question?
No, so that was the gym. She had a mentor. Now she's my mentor, and I had a really hard block with Aetna. And I was like, Amber, look, this is what's going on. They're telling me I cannot accept. They never heard of a salon accepting. And so she said, let me do this for you. And she was like hands-on right there. And I say, thank you again for that. I have not taken on my first client though, but
you're in the network. That's
all in the network.
That is advertised. That is free promo right there. That's it. That is it.
So let's get to the meat. Say that again, Amber.
I said the first person that let me try the insurance thing on them was a cousin. I had to get somebody that, I was like, hey, cuz, let me get your information. Because she had CCCA. That was like, she truly was a victim. Like, there was no follicles left. So it's like, all right, I'm not going to keep creating quick weaves and crochet. It just was not the thing for her. Right. So she's perfect candidate. And I found out her insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, was the first one I got with. And she let me, she trusted me in the process. And we found out what a lifetime amount meant, what a certain percentage was, like all those different terminology that they teach in our course now. And she was the one that got it. And we got our first check. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got the first check. And after that, we just kept growing from there. Then let me get on with TRICARE. Let me get on with Aetna. And that's just how it was.
I am in with TRICARE as well. I'm in with TRICARE, but Blue Cross is on hold right now. Blue Cross is not accepting applications right now. Okay, so let's get into it because people are watching and they want to know.
They want to know.
The first question I got last week, once we announced that we were going to do this show, the first question I got was, can you incorporate any part of insurance into your regular hair care business?
Not with integrity. Because like you do have to go through a credentialing process, and that credentialing is them seeing like, hey, did you get training? If you don't have a certificate of completion in a hair loss field like trichology, hair loss practitioner, or non-surgical hair replacement specialist, the insurance company honestly is not even going to look. As well as you have to have the state like, so you want to have your cosmetology license, but you also need a certificate of completion in that field saying this is what you specialize in. So me just being a regular cosmetologist at the time, I could not get in that way with the insurance companies.
But the customer cannot.
Now,
So you're saying not without integrity. You have to have integrity. You will not be able to charge the insurance company. And that's something like what I thought. Like, it's not really for regular hair care services. You really have to show a need for the service. And you're frozen again, Amber. So I'm just going to keep talking. You are frozen solid.
Oh man, it's air. Yeah, this air right here.
Okay.
Okay.
I do hear y'all. If y'all hear me.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll be here y'all the whole time, thankfully. Y'all, if I go out, I'll see y'all.
Okay.
If you freeze up, we got you covered.
So, but to make sure that was so was that a client asked, or was that like a beauty professional? Like they were saying, well, a client was seeing if they can get insurance to cover their regular hair regimens, like their regular hair. Yeah, okay, yeah. Technically, no, if an insurance company asks, they, really they're not, and to be honest, they're probably not going to ask, but because we're trying to make sure that we keep our and not trying to do this out of the networks, it's best
Amber is cutting out, but what she's saying is we want to do things in a professional manner. We want to do things the right way with integrity. So we cannot go in lying to the insurance companies unless we're going to get the boot. And we don't want to get the boot because we have worked so hard to be credentialed into these companies. So, and we want to just keep the standard high. Another problem that was happening is that people are saying non-surgical hair replacement and just doing maybe a quick weave or something like that to cover up the alopecia. But companies are starting to catch on to that. You're doing like a $200 service, but charging the insurance $2,000. And the companies are starting to take note of that. You're back, Amber.
Yes. Oh, girl, you said it way better than I was. That was it. That was it.
Okay, I'm going to ask just a general question. So say I don't do surgical hair, non-surgical hair replacement and all of that, but I do get clients that have alopecia and they might say, well, where does this start? How did this begin? What are your thoughts on this?
I believe that the stylists, we are the first people who see it. So, you don't have to be in a hair loss specialty to acknowledge your client's question. I do feel like we as hairstylists need to be aware of those areas of hair loss so we can just identify it and know when it's time to refer them to a trichologist or refer them to their dermatologist, so they can get that additional help, because they still going to come to you. But if their hair loss gets so bad that they can't get serviced anymore by you, that's still a loss. So you might as well, hey, you got something going on, it's time to go to the doctor, get that checked, or go to a trichologist, get that checked, so we can kind of keep your hair here and you can get your styling still.
I want to acknowledge Deborah Alexander is on here somewhere. I see the hearts, Deborah. She is also a trichologist here in Alabama. She was on with us last year. So thank you, Deborah, for joining us today.
Yes.
And yes, what you're saying, Amber, is true, because I have, especially when I'm doing locks or something and I see that it's thinning in areas, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Is it your medication? Are you on medication? That's the first thing. Because some people, they don't have to disclose their business like that, but that's number one that I'm looking for. Is medications, and then diet, what's going on there. And, then I'm like, okay, you need to see a trichologist or a dermatologist. Have you seen someone about this condition? So, yeah.
We want to say thank you for joining us. This is Swinness. We are on with Amber McCray. We are talking about alopecia, hair loss. Can you get it back? Is it going forever? How do you know what is what? I have several questions in here that I need to ask because I was being asked after the show last week once we announced that Amber was coming on. So I'm going to get back to that. And I just want you to know that we are streaming on YouTube and Roku at Voice of Promise. The next question I got was, Can menopause or hormones or stress cause your hair to thin or weaken?
Yes, yes, and yes. And that's really why we see it. That a lot of them. Once I got into the trichology field, I realized that was majority of what was happening. Like I said, you had those clients, especially the ladies. They've been going to get their hair serviced for years, and all of a sudden their hair start thinning out. But think about it. Most of those ladies eventually they're going into menopause. Maybe they're dealing with death in their family. Some people get new diagnoses and it's throwing off things. All those different things their medications change. Just so many things. And like I said, that hormone imbalance of course is going to cause that androgenetic alopecia that a lot of people
I
get.
like
But
that. I like that. You said the hormone imbalance. Thank
the
you.
hormone imbalance. Yep. And so some people got to check that or get it balanced for that hair to thicken back up. And I like what your sister said about that gut. That gut is a huge, huge, huge factor in it. So when we're having those or maybe how our body's absorbing things in our gut, you got to kind of replenish it, and that's where that supplementation and getting that nutrient delivery back into your system comes into play. Not telling anybody to get off of medication. We're just saying replenish what's being depleted from the medications that you're taking.
Yes,
thank you.
I
Thank
see
you.
Deborah's comment. She's in agreement as well. And I just wanted to say, I like when you said the stress factor, because stress affects so much of what we go through. Stress.
Yes. Stress.
And we know that high blood pressure medications affect not just women, but men as well. So yes, we will have some hair loss and thinning depending on what's going on there. T, you have a question?
I have a lot of questions. Like I said, my phone was blowing up last week, so I just kept all the questions that came to me. Is there a reverse, and I told Amber that, and she said, bring it like rapid fire.
Bring it.
Is there a reverse or slowdown of hair loss? Well, we answered that already. This person has, this person has Aetna insurance. She has locks, and she's had locks for many, many years, and she's seeing a lot of loss. She was asking about biotin. How do you feel about biotin?
I guess I'm in the middle. Well, I'm not in the middle of biotin. Honestly, when it comes to biotin, what I do is I ask clients who say they've been taking biotin for a long time. I ask them, have you seen a change in your hair growth? And if the answer is no, well, maybe biotin is not their issue. I feel like when it comes to hair is made of biotin. So I understand why that is being promoted to take biotin, because that's in your hair strand. But if you're not deficient in biotin or anything else, you may just be taking. If you're not deficient, we end up eliminating that in our urine. So biotin, we usually get a lot of our biotin from our diet. So that's rarely the reason why we're losing our hair. So like I said, but there are some, I feel like now the issue that many people have, we might have a B vitamin complex, a deficiency. So that's your B12s, your biotin, all that together. But just biotin itself, that's most times not the issue.
Okay. And what's adding more stress to her, she said, is seeing thinning and bald spots is adding more stress to her.
Yes.
Because she's trying to act like it doesn't bother her. She's doing like what men do, like the swoop over and all of this, but it's causing her more stress.
Yes. And stress is not going to, stress, like I said, that's starting to affect our gut and things. Like, think about stress. Yeah, some people get stressed and they gain weight, stress, or they lose weight. So you can just imagine what stress is doing to that hair strand. I always try to bring people down to the theory of the hair strand. The hair strand is fed by the bloodstream. So stress, tends to deplete also things that we need that our body needs. You're dealing with that cortisol hormone kind of getting out of whack. So that imbalance in that hormone is adding to that hair loss. So you just want to kind of deal with those different issues. There are things you could take. Like I say, I tell people we cannot avoid stress, but there are things we can take to help our body, how it reacts to stress. One thing is, protecting yourself with fruits and vegetables. I say that at the minimum. Taking a fruit and vegetable supplement can kind of strengthen strengthen your mood, things that, like, even the things that cause stress, that kind of helps. The mood is guided through your gut, I should say. So when that gut is not helping us release those happy hormones to keep us relaxed, our stress, the way our body reacts to stress is just way worse. So it all still ties down to that. So I say, get your fruits and vegetables in. Still try to take time to, maybe you need to get massages more frequently. You do want to consciously try to relax yourself, because your body's reaction to stress is what's going to cause that thinning. So if hair is the issue, let's go ahead and get somebody that can kind of answer your questions about your hair, so you don't have to stress so much. Because I see a lot of my clients get relieved where they're just like, hey, at least I know that's what was causing my hair loss. And they just already just get relaxed, like, whew, I ain't got to stress about that right there no more, right here. Yeah. So I was like, I don't have to have that stress. So we do want to find ways to deal with the stress. And like I said, for that client who's dealing with the locks getting thinned out, I just encourage her to at least try to find somebody locally, or even if she has to call me, I usually can kind of answer some general questions, most times just off the phone, the things she can do to kind of help that. But I will tell people, I encourage everyone to get on some type of fruit and vegetable supplement, because that can help in general, just in overall, and relaxing yourself.
This is Tanika Gillard. I'm Naturally Yours. We are on Twinness. We have Tisha McDonald. She is Alternatives Beauty Studio. And we have our guest, Miss Amber McCray. She specializes in non-surgical hair replacement. She does a lot. She teaches. She's an educator. And so she's here with us today. And we appreciate all her knowledge, and her time, because she's traveling, as you can tell. And so we just want to say thank you for that. Now let's go a little bit to the left, because we are all stylists here. Do you think there are certain styles or, tension that cause more stress on the follicles than others, maybe?
Yes, ma'am. Like I say, I tell people, for sew-ins, for example, I'm not against sew-ins for the right person. If the person has healthy hair, sewing is not going to hurt that person. But if I'm dealing with a person who has hair loss, sewing may not be their best option. We don't want to add to an already weak follicle. And that's something that I had to fight myself on, because before I got into the hair loss industry, I had to accept that and some styles are just not for those people. Even if I know I can cover it up, even if I know I can blend it, I'm adding attention to an already weak follicle, and that's not what you want to do.
And that goes right back to integrity.
Yes.
This client that's texting me or had all of those questions, she actually has locks. And so we know with locks, she doesn't wear a lot of tight styles or anything like that. But again, she's a woman of a certain age. I'm about to be going through menopause soon. I am the twin, because I said I was going to announce it. I'm the twin who's seeing thinning.
Oh, wow.
I definitely see it. Yeah. And I've had my locks for 16 years. I started them when I was pregnant with my daughter. And I said, my locks have 2 more years, and then I'm cutting them off. But what I did, and I know this is a rarity for me, what I did was put some twist over my locks. I just wanted something different. And I know it might cause a little more stress. And I know these twists are heavy. I got that. I got that. So don't come for me, y'all. Don't come for me. But this is only going to be in temporary, a month tops. But I just wanted something different. But like I was saying, the client that had all those questions, she has locks, and now she's seeing the thinning, but she is a woman of a certain age. And I'm thinking maybe it's time for the locks to go, because once you have your locks X amount of years, you're constantly doing a palm roll every month or every 6 weeks, whatever it is. So of course you're going to experience some kind of thinning with that. And forget about it. If you do the interlocking, that's a whole nother story.
Don't come for me, T. Don't come for me, because
not coming for you. Not coming for you.
Not only that, but you're not the only twin with alopecia.
All right,
I have my traction alopecia, and I always, and that's there. When I was first braiding, and I would braid my own hair tight to the back, up in the ponytail, tight all the time, constantly. And I was young. So at that time, it wasn't a big deal to me. But because of that, I'm very conscious of my clients now. And I'm like, no, we're not going to braid it that tight. No, we're going to leave these edges out, because I did it to myself. And so I'm going to protect you, because I've done it to myself, and I want to protect you. And that was one of my things. I see Miss McCray was busy, so I'm going to talk just a little bit until you get settled. But I did have a client.
Still now, no more interruptions with the internet or anything.
I had a client who brought her daughter, and her edges were so weak. And I told her, she got box braids. I said, I'm leaving these edges out because they need to heal. They need to rest. And the mother was very upset with me. Oh, I could take them to a da-da-da-da shop and they will get it all put up, you know. And I'm like, that's fine, take them there, but you will not have it on Naturally Yours that I broke off those edges, because I'm telling you, they're too weak. And so I think it's important for us to acknowledge that certain styles can add damage to the hair.
Definitely. And that's kind of what it was for me. You know, I had to be honest with myself. That's what made me even get into hair replacement. I had clients that I probably was the one kind of made it worse, because I kept I'm trying to make crochets, and I know I'm only dealing with the patch that's going around the back, and I'm roping that patch around to the front. Just, the things, that styles that we do to try to pacify our clients. It's great for our client because our client feels beautiful, but at the same time, it's hindering the client's progress to even grow, or even to have hope. That's why people are asking, is it reversible? Yeah, it can be reversible if the habit is stopped. You know, so you know, but if we're gonna keep doing it, you know, it's not gonna stop, and we're gonna keep adding to it. And it takes us having to be like, hey, I have to, as a professional, a licensed professional, tell you, hey, we got to stop doing it. And I think that was really commendable of you, Tanika, to say, hey, I just can't do that. I told you how I can do it the safe way, or I'm just not going to do it at all.
No, and I even get that now with clients. They're like, could you just leave? Yeah, sure. No problem.
Right. No problem.
Well, the thing is, we have two issues here. One, like Amber said, you know, the client feels better when you give them that full head of hair because they're missing the hair. And we know that maybe that's not the right thing, because I had a football mom, her son plays for the Rams. She came to me and she was like, I cannot go out without this weave. And I'm like, we need to come up with a different option. But she was adamant. She had to have that weave because she had to stand, you know, a certain standard, because she's the mother of a famous football player. And so it put me in a catch-22. I know she's someone of high power, but at the same time, I'm looking at the hair and I'm like, oh, you really need to stop. So I was in like that, what do I do here? And I just ended up doing actually I changed the style and I gave her crochets instead, because I was able to leave the hair out. So that's what we ended up doing. But I said, no, we're going to have to change it, because she wanted it straight. I was like, no, we could do a crochet and you still will have the fullness, and you'll like it. It's a little lighter on the hair, on the head.
I started offering I offer a lot of units to people too. Like, for those who, it's kind of easy to get my sewing people into a unit. Like, if I can make that unit look like a sew-in, like, okay, you know, I could rock with that. You know, you gonna make sure it stay, you gonna make sure it doesn't move, you know. So if there's different, you know, adhesives, of course you don't want to lay that on the hair strands, you know, but you know, if you can lay it in front of where the hair is, and not add to the hair loss. That's our whole goal. We're not trying to add to the hair loss. We're trying to keep those areas, be conscious of where the hair loss is, and just come up with some other alternative for those individuals. And I think a lot of that comes with us as beauty professionals getting that education and that training to know what options are available for those individuals. And even with the crochet.
Can we have your phone number?
Yes, ma'am. 706-403-2806. I do.
All right, guys, I'm putting this in the chat. So if you guys want her number, it's right there in the chat for you. Amber McCray.
And I do free discovery sessions too, for those who, like, you know, maybe you already kind of have your specifics that you want. So if you ever go to healthyhairsolutionscorp.com and press book now, it has like a mini questionnaire where we'll talk about your medications. We'll talk about, you know, your hair practices. We talk about that stress. Is stress an issue, you know? And I know somebody mentioned too down in the comments about the acidic levels. I'm glad you brought that out, because my mind would not click to that. Stress does make your body more acidic, and when you have an acidic, not alkaline environment in your body, you're going to cause other issues going on. And like I said, that's going to bring that imbalance on not just your hair, but a whole bunch of other stuff. So
you saw that comment? That's Deborah Alexander. She's the trichologist. Yes.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, like just giving another, like, hey, sometimes if you have hair loss, I personally will prefer for them to stay away from those different the crochets and the weaves. But there are people like the Weave Buddy. They do offer that base that you can crochet on top of that base. Kat Hiskey is the creator of that. And so they're coming with alternatives that we can help those individuals. And
I
that
was
does not
going to ask
discriminate.
you, what do you suggest? If you don't suggest crochet, what would you suggest?
If they want to crochet, use a weave buddy. That's one tool that I know is out there that it's like, and it's not a net, it's thicker than a net. And it kind of like puts a protector. You can get it for the hairline. If the person's issues in the hairline, you can get it down the middle of the head. If you go to her website, theweavebuddy.com, she has a hair piece for any type of situation. Because like I say, some people are going to insist. And, if that's our area, I think that is something that, even if you're just a licensed professional, you're not into hair loss, but, you got these people in your chair, you can offer hair loss services to those individuals because you can do it to them safely, give them that style safely, without it being such a strain.
Yeah.
For those who want to know, can you just give a general, how much do you get for Aetna? How much can the client get to receive these services from their insurance companies?
It does depend policy to policy. A lot of times it depends on if you met your deductible. I will say customers, you can call your insurance company and ask them, hey, what reimbursement can I get for code A9282 or cranial prosthesis service? The code is A9282, and that's the code for a wig any type. Because that's really the only service that is being covered by insurance. Now, like I said, I do know
Say the code again, please. Say the code again. I'm gonna type it in the chat.
A as in alpha 9282. And I know people will try to pay you for that. They make you pay them for that. That is a code you can Google. Okay.
Thank you.
A9282. And you can ask your insurance company to run that code to see if you get reimbursement. There you go. Perfect. And they will let you know if you have that coverage. And it's considered a durable medical equipment supply. It's a medical supply. And like I said, I do know people ask, does it cover hair restoration? Insurance companies will not cover hair restoration because there's not a code for that right now. And really because it's holistic. They're not they don't cover holistic things like that. But you can definitely check it out. And you can, if you go to a specialist who may not be listed with networks, you can take the receipt or that invoice from your specialist and send it to your insurance company and let them reimburse you. And that goes for HSA accounts, that goes for insurance. And like saying, if you have, if you want other things covered, you have things like care credit and things like that that can cover those services.
I was going to ask if you cannot afford the services, because you're saying like reimbursement, but what if you cannot afford the service? How can you pay for the service?
I would ask forward ask, see if your specialist would be willing to give you an invoice and to give to the insurance company first and wait for them to give it back. I will let you guys know they are very delayed. I'm not even gonna say delayed. They just take forever to give you the money to reimburse you back. So expect that to be about anywhere from 30 days to 3 months, depending on if your insurance company is who's your representative that week, But that is something that you can do, customers can do on their own, or even beauty professionals can guide talk their people into how to do that if they're not trying to get into the technicalities of getting on with insurance companies themselves.
2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
1, if someone's hair is growing breaks, any suggestion on that?
A lot of times those clients are deficient in something. Usually it's a deficiency from what I've seen in patterns. Vitamin D deficiency is a huge one that you could feel the hair texture change. Iron deficiency is another huge one. Sometimes people are anemic for years and the doctor, they don't even check the blood work, or they won't tell them, hey, you need to get on the iron pill, or they may tell them, go get your iron pill over the counter when they should have prescribed them some type of iron. Or like I know I'm with a supplement line that I know my supplements absorb isotonics, but those are things that, if you're not going to provide those absorbing supplements, I honestly would not. If they're going to get a supplement over the counter, let it be like GMC, some type of fresh food place like Sprouts, Fresh Market. I'm not sure what the ones are up there, but somewhere that has natural is their thing, or natural and organic is their thing. But Walmart, Sam's, not against Walmart or Sam's or anything, that's not where you would go get supplements from, especially if you have an iron deficiency or vitamin D deficiency. You usually need to get it from your doctor. But you usually can see a change in texture of the hair, it'll be breaking. You could trim the person's hair, then next week the hair's looking like it's breaking again. Usually a deficiency, 9 times out of 10.
Next question, the difference between a trichologist and a dermatologist.
Oh, that's a good one. So dermatologists, of course, are medical doctors. They went to medical school. Okay. I originally was in college to do dermatology, but I did not want to go to med school. Okay. That's way more years of experience. But a lot of dermatologists, their study is the skin. Okay. Our trichologists, their specialty is hair and scalp disorders. So that's a difference. And trichologists, we work to get to the root cause of hair loss. We're considered more functional doctors versus a dermatologist who they're a medical doctor. They're on the MD side of things. So they're treating symptoms. So a lot of times, if you're going to a dermatologist, they can do the biopsy. Now, I rock with my dermatologist now. Please don't think I'm dissing them. They can do the biopsy. I can't do a biopsy because I'm not a doctor. But their biopsy can give you an exact diagnosis. But the way they treat most diagnoses is they're going to give you a steroid, or they're going to give you minoxidil. They're going to give some type of medication to suppress the symptoms versus a trichologist who is going to, hey, let me see what's causing your hair to even have this. Let's make your body even have this inflammation. What are you deficient in? I'm gonna work with you more on that side of it.
Right. I've seen a lot of clients that they'll go to a dermatologist and they just get the injections, and you really don't see. You don't see much difference in the hair at all. It's like, no.
They're just injecting steroids.
And they just give the same treatment to each one. It's like not individualized to the person, Y'all are watching Twinness. I'm sorry, just got to reinforce that. Y'all are watching Twinness. We're talking about alopecia today. Hopefully, we've answered a lot of your questions. If you have more questions, you could always text us, inbox us, just let us know. Give us topics that you want to discuss anyway. But if you have any other questions, we have Amber McCrae's information is here. You can contact her. You got Tisha McDonald and Tanika Gillard.
Yes. And y'all have some good questions. Y'all answered some real ones. I'm like, okay.
We told you we were going to bring it today. We were going to bring it today. Because this is such a hot topic that women want to know, especially after that whole, should we even say, Jada Pinkett. Oh, we won't even, oh my God, let's not even, because I don't want nobody coming for me. But
they coming. Like I said, she has a team, so I have nothing negative to say at all. But I mean, it was definitely but it did bring some awareness. And I think her bringing it out, like, I don't really know if that event brought it out, but hey, it came out and brought awareness to alopecia.
And there are some patients or clients or whoever, people that have alopecia all over. Like they don't have hair nowhere. And it's a cause from an autoimmune condition, they don't have hair nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then so autoimmune conditions, you're dealing with inflammation, and so if you can, I know a lot of my clients that we deal with who have there's autoimmune alopecia, CCCA, that's an autoimmune alopecia. The LPP, I don't want to mess the name up, but that's an autoimmune alopecia. That alopecia areata, those are autoimmune alopecias. If you can they don't necessarily have cures for those, and a lot of times the clients go to the doctors and it's like, hey, that's it for you. And it's like, that's not really the truth. If we can deal with the inflammation, if that was the truth, they wouldn't inject you guys with the steroid shots, because they do know those steroids are suppressing the inflammation. But the problem is they're not also putting in something into your body that's going to repair that area that they're trying to suppress, trying to help the body heal itself. And like I said, a trichologist, even a hair loss practitioner, that's what we're dealing with. We're trying to really deal with the individual to get them some type of results on a more of a natural path.
I just want to say again, this is Amber McCrae. This is my coach. This is my mentor. Took her class a couple years ago. She's been very helpful along the way. I haven't started taking the insurance, but I know who to go to. I know who to call when I have a question, and she answers me immediately. I want to say thank you, Amber, because I just text you last minute. Can you join us next Sunday? And she was right on it. She said, yes, Tisha, anything to help you, a former student, you know, she was right there and said thank you. She said yes with no hesitation. So I want to say thank you again for that.
You're
Next
welcome.
question. We're sticking with this insurance thing, girl, because I keep getting questions.
Oh yeah, I can answer the thing about the amounts. Now there are some insurance companies you can get like 2,000. Like for example, TRICARE, that's $22.95. TRICARE East, let me specify.
Yes.
Like you have other ones who, like I said, it's based off of a percentage. It's based off of a deductible being met, but it still covers. If it covers, you know, if that's your case, it's covered. You know, so.
Again, she said to reach out to your provider to see, and this is the code you want to use, cranial prosthesis. The code is A9282. You can call your insurance provider, find out how much they will cover, if they will cover, what is your deductible. You can ask them all these questions because cranial prosthesis is covered by almost every insurance company because of the cancers, because of the alopecias. You know, when you're losing your hair, it really affects you as a person. It's a very personal thing. And so it affects your self-esteem and everything. And doctors know this. So they will write you the prescription to get a cranial prosthesis unit. And again, Amber, we didn't even touch on this.
What's that?
You cannot use over-the-counter glues and stuff like that. These are medical grade glues that we have to use on these units. These are not units that you can buy at your local Sally's or your local beauty supply store. We have to use the real deal. Please explain that.
So so medical grade adhesive, you know, it's made from materials that the medical industry would use. But
we can't even use the word glue. We have to use the word adhesive.
Medical grade adhesive, yes. And it's funny. Somebody just asked me that yesterday. Like, you know, what is the medical grade adhesive? Like, where do you get that from? I say they have it for. We have to be, once we get specialized, we're able to get with vendors who will sell to just us. Now, if we decide to retail it to our clients, that'll be how you get it. And you do have some hair stores that's putting it in there now, but they had to be listed as a vendor to be able to do that. So, you know, we just can't just get it all. You know, it's not easily accessible because we are specialized in what we're doing. And it's because those units, you mess around and use the wrong adhesive on the wrong base, you have messed up a few $1,000 unit. And that has happened. I've had clients who did it. I've got them a unit. They went to somebody who was not specialized in that, and the unit matted up. And you would think if it matted up, it's because it's cheap, but it's like, no, the wrong adhesive got messed up in those hairs. It was not, they didn't protect the lace. I would say for lace, let me use lace for example, because that's a very common base. Lace, you can put adhesive down, liquid adhesive, but I like to protect my lace from the liquid adhesive. So there's a tape I could put down on the unit and then put that on top of the adhesive because I want my lace to last a long time. But that's something I had to learn. That's something I was taught. You don't just find that on the back of the bottle you don't find that on the back of the product. Like, oh, put the tape down first and then put down the adhesive. So you even know when we say someone's a non-surgical hair replacement specialist, they have went and learned to do this and make sure that this unit that you have paid me $2,000 for, you know, sometimes they can range. I'm saying something that's more reasonable to hear, but there's no way I'm gonna let a non-professional try to attach my $2,000 unit with adhesive and they have not been trained. There's just no way. But it happens, and it's a waste of money when it happens that way, and that's a messed up unit and somebody's money wasted, and that's not what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to be wrapping it up in a second. What about the clients who you see like they have no hair here and they don't want you to cut their hair or, you know, because you have to shave it off in order to, those clients who's like, they want to hang on to their hair by any means necessary. You have those.
Yes, so there are attachment methods for those individuals. You can get a unit that is custom fitted to them and it may grip their head so they don't have to worry about that. You can have like polyurethanes installed on the side. You can purchase it that way so they can have that grip in those areas. There are people who teach braidless attachment methods. Sharon Reams, she's an individual, an educator that I work closely with. She teaches braidless attachment methods. And so for those individuals who
I've taken her class with you, Amber.
Yes. So she's saying it. And we're actually coming together again, actually in March, where we'll be all of a sudden we learn all these different techniques, that weave buddy technique, the braidless attachment, that the liquid adhesive attachments, all of that.
I need that, Amber. I need that.
Yeah.
You see, Tisha, you see her? She is an educational guru. Like she's just in it, like she's all the way in it. So whatever you say, I'm gonna pop your hand, Miss Amber, because Tisha can take any class she can. But it's a good thing to stay educated and up on everything. And what I picked up again, another gem. Amber said, me and this other person, we're coming together. We're gonna have this class. It's continuing education. And we always talk about continuing education, no matter what field you're in, whether it's the hair field or any field that you're in, you always going to continue to progress and to get the knowledge.
Wait, Tamika, you're talking too much. Amber never answered the question. Sorry. When is it? Where is it? You said March. That's all I got.
Yeah, so March.
That might be working out the details.
So we were supposed to do it in November, but we actually extended it because we do understand that inflation is a thing, and a lot of people are just kind of getting aware of it. And we want to give our beauty professionals, time to invest. For those who don't want to use the credit options and things like that. So it will be March 2023. We just made that decision to extend it, so I'll have to get the exact date to you guys. Definitely March 2023. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of promos to help beauty professionals. Just some good little tips on, just some good tips on being a good beauty professional. I mean, having your business set up. So we'll be able to get those things out. And I'll have that exact date real soon. But we're supposed to be meeting everybody on the exact date.
This is Amber McCray, but I want to say, because I got to give Renee a shout out. She's on here tonight. And I want to say, because Renee is the one that's helping me with my applications. She was the one in the background helping me get the stuff done for Aetna and Blue Cross. So I want to say, I see her here. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you, Renee.
I just want to acknowledge you.
Yes.
Renee also makes my products. She makes products from hand. So she makes my oils. She makes my shampoo bars because I don't use regular shampoo. She's a naturalist.
I need to talk to her. She do clay masks.
Renee, you just got a shout out. You need to make some clay masks.
Yes, I'm like, I need a good exfoliation mask. I'm looking. But yes.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap things up. She said yes.
Renee, let me I see you in the comments. I'm gonna go add you and message you.
I'm gonna leave your name right there for a second. Right there for a second, Renee. And she even responded again. Yes, I do.
Yes. Awesome. I'll be on there.
All right. So we want to say thank you, Amber. Is there any final thoughts, Tanika? Amber, any final thoughts?
No final thoughts right now.
Yeah, I thank you guys for having me. Like I said, we always have something going on. So if you ever if you're curious, like I said, we always have education going on. We always have, even with teaching how to do the insurance reimbursement, which will also be in that March class. www.healthyhairsolutionscorp.com. It is on that page. Subscribe to that website, and we'll get those exact dates to you. We have promos going on, as well as live trainings that we will be diving into that are free. Things like, hey, it's tax time. www.healthyhairsolutionscorp.com. And you can see everything on my homepage. But we do have an event website. It's a little more complicated for me to say. But if you follow that, you'll see everything that we're ever involved in. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I just want to give people a moment to take this down. And I'm going to put your number up again so people can take that down one more time.
Tisha, do we have anyone special coming on next week? Do you know?
Next week is you and I.
Just you and I?
And then the week after, we have a special guest. The week after, we have a special guest.
Okay.
Our special guest will be Saja Monet, and she's a wig maker. Awesome. Because for this month, we are talking about hair loss, alopecia, and actually, Amber, next week, we're going to talk about, because many people think that if their hair is thinning, they should get locks. But we're talking about that next week.
Girl, I gotta jump on that.
And then the week after, then the week after, we'll be talking to Saja Monet about wig making and stuff like that. So this month, this is what we're focusing on: hair loss and solutions, or not solutions, but in betweens or
Awareness. Yeah.
awareness.
This is what's out
Options.
here. This is what you don't need to do. This is what y'all are doing. This is like, I think that you're doing great because they're topics that need to be talked about. You know, y'all kind of hitting the more of the, not even gonna say this, but controversial topics that people just breaking myths. I think that y'all doing a good job putting it on the platform.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Everyone that came on, everyone that joined, everyone that's watching the replay, we want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. This was a lot of information. I got to say again, thank you to my coach and my mentor, Amber McCray, for being here today, taking an hour out of her schedule on a Sunday evening, family time, to spend time with us.
Yes, yeah, and I'll do it again. I'm so glad my baby is down. Yes, I'm so glad my baby is down. But yes, I'll do it again. I
Well,
definitely
what about
did it.
Miss Gigi? Because she was one that was an integral part in your learning as well.
So me and Gigi partnered together on a project where we brought the two fields of the insurance. So I was teaching the Siemens Academy with the hair replacement side on the East Coast, and she was doing it on the West Coast.
Wow.
She had it as some insurance. She has the curriculum for the non-surgical hair replacement insurance curriculum. No, excuse me, say that wrong. Non-surgical hair replacement curriculum, which is all the theory behind non-surgical hair replacement. Definitely a good investment for anybody who is a specialist in that field. And she partnered with me because of the insurance reimbursement part. And together we made the All About Insurance Medical Edition insurance textbook. And that's where we talked about, how to get that, what is hair replacement and how insurance plays a role in hair replacement, and kind of that foundation piece that people need to get started, get into the networks. What is getting into the network? What is medical billing? And giving that breakdown, show you guys the intro to claim forms, how to fill out a claim form and all that. So really that book is actually included in our Siemens Academy, the part 2 with the All About Insurance and medical financing information. So I include that textbook in my curriculum. But like I said, me and her came together on that.
That is awesome.
And she's definitely a legend in the industry. She's been seeing it since it was out. So she's really awesome. She's actually retired now. She's officially retired. But she definitely left a lot of wisdom to those of us who are still out here in the industry.
Let me tell you, I had to grab her book. That's where I
went. There it is. Yes, that is the book.
This is one thick,
it looks thick,
textbook. But it's a lot of knowledge. I'm stuck still on the chapter for the lace fronts and the different bases, because it's a lot of material to absorb, and I got it during that class, but it's a lot. Amber, you are frozen solid.
But that's okay, because we're getting ready to go.
We're getting ready to say goodnight?
Yes.
But this is an insurance book as well. This is the one that's by Amber and Miss Gigi. So it's a lot of information. But we want to say thank you guys for joining us today. And we will see you next week, where we'll be talking about locks as an option. Is it an option? We'll see next week. Thank you for joining. You saying good night, Nikki?
Good night.
Okay.